this is Joe Pryor of the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City. I want to talk a little bit about something that I think is extremely important that you know about if you're an Oklahoma City homeowner or if you're someone who may be an investor from out of state buying here. And that is the structure of a home. Now, the structure of our homes in Oklahoma City usually come in two ways. Normally, you have a stem wall with footings or piers. Then you have framing that goes all around the house, and the slab is a floating slab. There's also what we call a post-tension type suspension floor that makes the slab a part of the structure. But one thing that you really need to know about Oklahoma City is that we have a very, very heavy clay content in our soil. And with clay, the good news is we produce a lot of brick. In other words, when you buy an all brick home in Oklahoma City, it's about the same price to put brick on as it would be frame. And brick houses look better to most people, and it's just really economical. But the problem is when the clay is in the soil. When clay is dry, it is a finer particle than sand even. And so therefore we have what we call an active soil. And what an active soil can lead to is some movement in your foundation. And, you know, a little bit of movement is normal. You may find a few cracks here and there in the brick and, you know, maybe something inside the house after 30, 40 years. But that is not something that we really call structural problems. That's what we call normal settling. But there are times for various reasons that can accelerate. And this is when you may have a problem. And, you know, we have companies, very good companies that are called pier companies. What they do is they come out and they install steel piers underneath your house to stabilize it so that there's no further movement. But what I normally recommend to people if they're looking to really get a feel for what's going on in their structure before they spend, you know, $4,000 or $40,000, what they need to do is hire a structural engineer. Structural engineer is somebody that's been through full engineering school. They know commercial structure, but, you know, by knowing commercial structure, which is more exacting, they understand residential structure, but they have to do some on-the-job training, obviously, and they are certified by the state. You know, this is the best way, hiring that kind of professional to make sure that you're not spending money unwisely, that you don't need to spend or could cause the structure even possibly to move some more. So normally what's going to happen, unless it's really severe, a structural engineer is going to come out and they're going to take measurements, they're going to take pictures, and they're going to typically say, look, let me come back in 6 months, and then let me come back in a year, and let's kind of measure how much more movement that you see, because a structural problem basically has a more rapid movement. It's not something that's going to take 40 years. It may be something that takes a year or less. At that point, the structural engineer will come together with you and draw out a plan for what they think is the best way to attack the problem. Then at that point, we can recommend an outstanding structural peer company to come to your home and make sure this happens properly. Now, you know, in Oklahoma, a lot of homes are pier. The house that I live in has piers. It's not unusual. If it's done right, it's something that can last a long, long time that you don't need to worry about anymore. But I want you to know, consult with a structural engineer, get multiple recommendations from a realtor that you trust before you spend any money at all. This is Joe Pryor of the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, where we deliver traditional real estate values at the speed of technology.